We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment, and I'm excited to have this couple on, and I want to find out, first of all, how they met. Both celebrities, both are iconic in specific ways, but they have a book. They've come together, and they're going to help me. So I'm excited to welcome to the program celebrities Corbin-Bernsen and Amanda Pays. Corbin and Amanda, thanks for calling. How are you?
Oh, great, Neil.
Good, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I'm going to go back first to Amanda. And Amanda, I was looking back at some of your Wikipedia and some of the films. What did you think of the 80s for you and stuff? Some pretty interesting parts you had in the 80s, didn't you?
Interesting, yes. I think I started with a little horror movie. That's what you're talking about. And then I went on to Max Headroom and Oxford Blues. And yeah, it was a kind of an interesting time. That's where I met Corbin when he was when I was on Max Headroom at the time.
Yeah, we
met in the nightclub.
We met in the nightclub, and she basically, blew me off. But she did give me a phone number that was connected to her dressing room, which, if you know what that means, is pretty meaningless. It's a dressing room phone number that basically rings, and that nobody ever answers. And then I noticed we were shooting L.A. Law one day, and right across the alley from us, where there was an old stage that they had done Blade Runner or something, a Big Trouble in Little China. Somebody was shooting on that stage, and I asked who it was, and they said, well, it's Max Headroom. And Max Headroom, and I said, wow, I know a girl there. I went and found Amanda, sort of told her that she blew me off. But it would have to be their last day of filming that series. And if they weren't there, this book would have never happened.
Yeah, 30 years later.
Wow, interesting. So Amanda, did you know Corbin when he you first met, who he was and stuff like that? Like of stuff he's done in acting?
No. Daisy. When he walked in, I think somebody said, "Oh, that guy plays a real sort of sod, Arnie Better," and I wasn't interested at all. But we were introduced by a friend. He was very charming, but I was a little bit cocky in those days as well. He was like, "I'm on a show called L.A. Law," and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm on a show called Max Headroom." And he said, "I just shot a movie," and I said, "So have I." So I did give him a bit of a runaround for a few months.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, this guy's a sweetheart.
Of course, then we connected, and she came up to my newly refurnished $200,000 bachelor house up in the hills in Laurel Canyon, and immediately in the first walking in the door, she goes, "Well, all this is going to change." And the paint wasn't even dry yet.
Nice and say. Like not my deal at the time.
But that's right where we started learning to compromise in the best terms of the word.
Right.
In the compromise part, and that's important as a couple. So, Amanda, who is more of the designer, you or Corbin learned from you?
Well, actually, we're different. We both have elements that we bring into this design world. And Corbin was a carpenter. He trained as a carpenter. He was really the builder, the spatial guy, the kind of like, we can knock this wall down, we can do this, and I'm much more the aesthetic, the palette, the materials, the overall kind of feel of the place. So we worked in tandem together really well.
But what we've sort of over 30 years discovered, and we've worked our way backwards toward it, is where we are very common is to keep it simple. In this world that's a little cluttered, to say the least, with both news, information, and stuff, we have found, and maybe it's an age thing, you got to go, you're young, right. You got to collect those wires, collect. We have found the easiest way to navigate this world is to keep things simple. And that could go right down to a relationship itself, you see so many people not being able to make it through their relationships, and I think people just clutter themselves with too much and stuff. And I think in the home is sort of the starting place and ending place of each day. Keeping it simple.
Yes.
Whether it's how you design the house, to your clothing, your closet, to the food you eat, and what's in your refrigerator. There's more to gain by having less.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish you could tell my wife that. So that's the thing. As a teacher, she keeps everything, keeps almost every single thing from, and we have 5 kids, Corbin and Amanda. So she finally has decided, okay, I want to get my life simple again. So let's look at this, Amanda. Open House, Reinventing Space for Simple Living. It's a coffee table book. And tell us specifically how can we keep things pretty simple for simple living? What are your recommendations before we get the book?
Well, our recommendations would be to, first of all, it's like you go through your home, you have to think about what it is you actually use as opposed to
what do you need
in your life, as opposed to just holding on to stuff that is either put away or touching up your home. And you've got to be kind of a little bit ruthless. I mean, Corbin, to be honest, when I met him, we both went through the collecting phases of his life, and he wasn't. What?
Yeah, you're still here. I don't know if Corbin's on the line. Continue, Amanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was a big collector, and so we've still got some collections, but at the end of the day, we've managed to kind of go through, and part of our, the renovating and the moving has helped us get rid of. So you're down to the basics, like living with basics.
Yes.
Well, it's what do you need as opposed to what you want is a nice starting ground. And by the way, this doesn't mean you're doing this simply because of some, crystals and weird living way of life of being simple. It's actually a design aesthetic. I mean, you'll see in the book, it's actually a look. A lot of people go into a museum and feel a feeling of comfort. Well, there's some paintings on the wall, they're white, and you have a sofa in the middle, and there's a peace and an ease to it. So we're not saying do all of this necessarily for your lifestyle. There actually is an aesthetic to it that also offers a lot. I'd say something to your wife, if she's a teacher, and now I'll put it like this. I just thought of this as you were saying it. So she must teach some basic math somewhere in there. If your number is 10 and you have 8 of stuff, you only have room for 2 more. But if your number is 2, you have room for 8, meaning there's room around what you have before you get filled and full. And when you have that kind of space in the day, at the beginning of the day, you have you wake up in the morning, you have 14, 15 hours of your day. It's anything you want to make it. By the time you get to 11 o'clock at night, you're jamming, because you only got an hour left.
Right, exactly.
So the less you have, the more potential you have.
Ah.
Oh, very good.
I like that.
Good.
I like that, Corbin, for sure. And Amanda, so that's basically the simple thing is what you have. And then once you figure out and you weed down things and you keep it simple, it's about specific designing. And that's in your book so that people can check that out to say, okay, now we've weeded down. We've made sure we don't have so much stuff. Now we're ready to decorate and make it great and simple. Right?
And also, by the way, decoration doesn't cost any money. I mean, the book is kind of the art of where we started with more. We started with more when we met, and we were starting a family, and now we have less, but we have better quality of life almost because you have more time to enjoy your life. You're not always running around, filled with clutter. It's a crazy world out there, and we find that in the home, if it's less cluttered, if it's more simple, then it allows you to breathe. And
even down to simple, obvious stuff, and I'll go back to my museum thing, and it's not for everybody, we're not saying this has to be, but for us, it's pretty much we paint our interior of our homes and off-white, not stark, it's not a museum. And it's amazing when you put a painting or something or a piece of furniture, a chair against, or even your flat screen TV, which I'm looking at right now, up on a white wall, it stands out, and those are the kinds of tips. And again, white's not for everyone, and there's certainly tips in there that Amanda's shown me. And
we do like to bring in light. Bringing light into your home is a big one for us.
Yeah, and white and stuff. But that's a design tip from us. It's not for everyone, but again, it goes back toward being simple.
Awesome. All right, so where's the best place we can purchase the book, Amanda? Where can we go? Where's the best place for people to check it out and stuff?
Well, to get it it on Amazon, obviously, and then we're Barnes and Nobles around the country are selling it, and then some smaller independent stores will be. But right now we're about to head off to do the signing tour around the country, especially on the East Coast, like some Barnes and Nobles coming up, Nashville, St. Louis, Chicago, yeah.
Also, again, if you want to just find out more about us, where we're going to be, and you'll notice her name is first, go to amandaandcorbin.com, and you see more about us. There's some photos we share and some links to, things that we think are pretty cool, but also where we'll be and also where you can get the book.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and I'm definitely going to tell my wife to check out the book. And really, first comment thing I'm going to say is let's keep things simple, and we'll be good to go. So thanks for calling, guys. Best of luck and with all your ventures. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been great chatting with you. Bye.
Take care, guys. See ya. Okay, bye-bye. You're listening to Neil Haley's show, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment, and my guest, I'm a huge fan. From the days when he was a child actor to now, so I'm excited to welcome to the program celebrity Joey Lawrence. Joey, thanks for calling, man. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So, Joey, I know people have asked this question before, but I didn't get to hear the whole story. How did you come up with the whoa? Because that really took your career from blossom all the way to where you are today, I think, for sure.
Well, it was crazy, man. You said it as a joke one night. It was more like a surfer whoa, like Keanu Reeves or whatever, and it wasn't working. And they were going to cut the line, and, the producer said, can you try something different with it? I was 13 and my voice was cracking and I didn't know what to do with it, but I tried something that, was not the surfer whoa thing, and that came out. The audience went nuts and they kept it in the show, and then they added like 2 more that episode, that show night, and when the show aired, people, I guess, really reacted positively to it, and it took off like crazy, and that was it. I mean, there was no social media, so, 17, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, 20 years ago, so, but it was, so I can only imagine how quick it would have taken off then. But man, it was just literally seemed like it was overnight. And by the end of like that season, it was cemented into pop culture, and the rest is history.
Exactly, Joey. And would you say, in so many ways, that the childhood actor that you became to be able to evolve to where you are today, that's difficult, right? It's a challenge for somebody who is a child actor to be able to do it. For sure, yeah. Oh
yeah, no, there are lots of ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and you got to just keep pushing on. It's about work ethic, man. If you want it, you got to go after it. No one's going to give you anything. Certainly, they haven't given me anything. I've had to work for everything that's come my way, but the good news is, 36 years later, I'm still doing it. We just wrapped this Joey a year ago, and believe it or not, the brothers and I are getting back together for an amazing TV project that is super exciting to us. Very different than anybody's seen us together before, because we're grown-ass men now. Last time we worked together, we were kids,
Yeah.
But single camera, got an Emmy Award-winning writer, and very excited. So there's a lot of great things. I'm playing a bad guy on Hawaii Five-0 this season.
CyberstationUSA.com.
Terrestrial radio is basically going to be supplanted by what's happening in technology. Think about this. Your internet receiver gives you the entire world. It's remarkable.
This is Cyberstation USA.
Oh, wow.
The main villain this season, so that's fun. And, sold a movie to Sony that we're working on starting next year. And I got a great new unscripted series with a huge comedian that I can't tell you about yet, but I will when we do the official press release and everything. And we're going to have a show that we're working on together next year as well. And the comedian is one of my favorites, and you guys will know him for sure.
Oh, wow.
So a bunch of great stuff, but got to just keep working.
Exactly.
A lot of things left to accomplish, and I've been lucky to be able to do this as long as I have so far, but I got a lot left that I want to do, so, got to just keep working hard.
It sounds like, Joey, you're definitely a creative guy, that, it's not just acting, as we're going to talk about in your music in a second, but you really are interested in producing, directing, behind the scenes, it sounds like, Joey, and that's why you continue to get projects, because you're not just trying to be a one-trick pony. You're adding lots of different nuances to your craft.
Yeah, being an actor for hire is tough. It's tough. You can't just be an actor for hire. You got to sort of create your own material. And you know, you have to push your own product as well. I mean, that's how Melissa and Joey happened. Yeah, I produced that and, you know, put that together from the ground up. So that's the only reason why something like that happened. You know, otherwise it wouldn't happen. But, you know, yeah, it takes a lot of work. I mean, even a series with the family and stuff is very difficult to do, you know, to find the right way in to make it, you know, the right vibe. I mean, it's, you know, to create it from the ground up is, you know, you got to make sure that you put your best foot forward. But I've learned a lot over 36 years and I have a lot of experience now, so I can bring that to everything that I do.
And that's important because once you have experience, then people will listen and you'll find new stars and new talent. But music, I didn't know about the music, Joey. Tell us about how long you've been performing and singing and stuff. Tell us about that.
Well, performing and singing was, you know, really what sort of began it all for me. I mean, when I was doing all those national commercials way back when I was 4.5, 5 years old, and the Tonight Show saw me and flew me out to, you know, to audition for Johnny Carson. It was, I had my boombox, and I sang and danced. That's what I did, and that's why they put me on the show. They allowed me to sing and perform 2 songs that night, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
It started everything. NBC saw that and signed me, and you know the rest is history when it comes to that stuff. But came out with a record, a couple of records in the late '90s, and you know we sold millions of copies, and it was a lot of fun. And you know, but as usual with a lot of artists, I didn't see a lot of the proceeds from all that success, so left a bad taste in my mouth. But because of social media about 5 years ago, the fans just really kept asking me to do it. And we finally got to a point where I think I was able to come up with, you know, a collection of songs that I felt comfortable releasing and letting them hear it. And my label let me sort of make this really great sort of throwback, like late 70s, early 80s funk pop record and record everything live. And it's just been a lot of fun so far. So Imagine is the record, which is out everywhere now. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, all that stuff. It's actually side A. Side B, which is a collection of 5 songs, will be out in November. So side A has 5, side B has 5, but we're releasing them two months apart. And the first single, Girl, has gotten really great write-ups, and
Good.
I'm kind of excited. I really can't believe people have responded as positively as they have, actually.
So when it's your own record label or your own music that you are doing everything, it's the best thing, right? Because you can make money. You know that no one's going to take the money, as you said when you had the success in the '90s with this. So it's perfect, and then your fans continue to see your talent. It sounds like.
Exactly. This is a small little indie label, but they had distribution worldwide, and they just really believed in what I could do, and my producer sort of gave me the free reins to sort of make the record that I really wanted to make, and that's why I did it. You know, I didn't have to listen to a bunch of A&R guys or market test groups or focus groups. You know, just able to kind of go in there and make the sound you want to make and see what happens. And that truly is what music is all about. You know, you can't worry about what people are going to think of it while you're making it. You got to put your best foot forward and then bring it to the people and see what they say. That's how you do it. You know. And
do you like being in the studio recording compared to the other things that you do? You do?
I love it, man.
Yeah. That's great. Sure.
No, I love it. It fulfills a very specific part of my soul, for sure. Yeah, I love it. Music is amazing. We're just writing the music and producing the music and singing the music. It's all great. It's great stuff.
How would you compare yourself to other artists for people out there that have not heard the album yet? What would you say?
Well, it's like I said, it's the late 70s, early 80s, so punk, pop, that's what I love, that feel-good music. I mean, you know, look, Bruno Mars is sort of doing the mid-80s, you know, pop stuff. And for me, I just love that late 70s funk stuff. So, you know, that's you know, the end of the Earth, Wind & Fire run, Commodores, you know, Michael Jackson Off the Wall. It's that kind of stuff. That's Stevie Wonder. That's the stuff I love. So that's kind of the record that sort of inspired me, and that's the kind of record that I wanted to make. So, you know, that's sort of the album. But I think people are going to be able to feel good. Some of the responses so far has just been, it's just so much fun. And that's all I wanted to accomplish. It's not a message about, you know, world peace. It's not a message about where we are in the world today. I think we're reminded by all the stuff that we got going on 24 hours a day in the news cycle, you know, and on social media. What I like about entertainment is when you can escape. You know, for me, that's what I love about music, and that's my favorite music. Favorite entertainment, movies, TV shows, is ones that I don't worry about what's going on in the real world, because I get to escape for 20 minutes or 3 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. That's what entertainment is all about. I feel like today so much of entertainment just reflects what's going on, and that to me is like there is a time and place for that, but it's also with the social media explosion in the 24-hour news cycle, we are exposed to those those elements more than we ever have before as people. And I don't think we need to be reminded so much in entertainment about it as much anymore, because that's got to be more of an escape. And I feel like that's what I wanted to do with this music, is just make it fun, period. Just fun. That's it.
All right, so it's now available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and more. And, Joey, we can follow you on what places, social media-wise?
Well, I'm on Twitter, Joey Lawrence. I'm on Instagram, @Joey Lawrence. I'm on Facebook, official Joey Lawrence. So you can find me everywhere, man.
And it was great to hear some of the things coming up for you. Hawaii 5-0, all these different things. So people got to check it. I'm glad for you. It's exciting. And continue to do what you love. And that's fantastic, Joey. And thanks for calling, and best of luck with the album and all the other stuff you're doing. Okay, man?
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Interview, guys.
See you, Joey. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You're listening. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
See you. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Neil Haley Show in the Total Celebrity segment, and I'm excited to welcome to the program American Idol and now star of INSP's State Plate, Taylor-Hicks. Taylor, how are you, man?
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I wanted to touch base with you and see how things are going. It's been such fantastic season 1 of State Plate, and now things keep getting better and better, aren't they?
It's as we go through them, ultimately our goal is to do all 50 states, and we're at number 26 right now. So we've got a little bit more to go, but it's a great show, and I'm just thrilled that we're able to have a second season, and now a second season 2.2, where we're going to hit 12 more states. So it's a blessing to be able to host it, but it's also educational for me.
Oh, absolutely. When you first started this, I heard how excited you were before it even premiered, Taylor, that you just liked the idea of traveling the country and finding the best places to go and check out the amazing things in those states. And you love traveling, but you're traveling when you sing is a lot different. You don't get to spend as much time. This time you really get to spend time in these states and learn about and see many people and really learn about the best food in those areas, right?
It's really educational for me, and hopefully it's educational for the viewer. But all of these states, they do have iconic foods, and what's interesting in one state to someone may be really interesting in another state to someone else. So it's always interesting, for me being from Alabama, what do people eat in the state of Washington? What people eat in the state of North Dakota? What people eat in South Dakota? So I think that's kind of where the interest is drawn, is where these foods are coming from.
Exactly, where these foods are coming from, and each state, you can't pick a favorite, can you, Taylor? With some of the amazing places you've discovered in your journey of the show.
You can't. It's just something that this is what makes State Plate so great, is that we are really hitting every state with all of these iconic foods. Now, some foods may come from the establishments, kind of like diners, drives, and dine-ins, and then some foods are, coming from the farm and the farmlands, and that's what's great about this show, is that we're able to really expose the small farmer and just let people know how important these foods are to America.
Absolutely. And these foods, why they're important in America and what makes that state so special. Let's talk about the new states that you're going to be traveling to. I think Alaska's a pretty cool one, right? That's going to be a little different type of food than some of the other states you've visited so far.
Very different. Being from Alabama, the only kind of thing that we know, the only thing we really know about Alaska more times than not is that they come second in the order of states. And it's been amazing to be able to go up there and expose all of those really great foods. I didn't realize how great those foods actually were. You've got the king salmon, and you have all of these really unique, iconic foods that you think about that really are exports for that state.
Yeah, definitely. And what type of place did you visit when you traveled to Alaska? What kind of food establishment?
We went to the rivers. Obviously, there's rivers and there's game. There's game that is very iconic up there. Some farmlands. So that's something that we try to expose.
Oh, that's great. So it's not just Taylor. It's not just the restaurants. It's, as you talked about, the farmland. It depends on the area and where you're going and stuff like that.
It does. I mean, yeah.
Cool. Now, when you go to Jersey, that's New Jersey, a lot different than Alaska, right, Taylor, for sure.
Very different. But, that's what's great about the show is that, again, it's showing all the diversity that we have in this country and how diverse the country is. So that's something that I'm always educated on as we travel through this show. So it's been fun to be able to expose just the diversity of the foods.
And the diversity of the foods, Taylor, that's for sure in so many ways. And have you now, after experiencing all these great states, changed some of your style of how you enjoy cooking, or what types of meals you have now with all these experiences that you've had?
Well, it's definitely opened my palate up. I mean, obviously, everybody in Alabama, when you're born in Alabama, you start with a palate, a pretty good one at that.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely opened up to, a lot of these different types of food that make complete sense after you try them. So that's something that I just,
cyberstationusa.com.
Terrestrial radio is basically going to be supplanted by what's happening in technology. Think about this. Your internet receiver gives you the entire world. It's remarkable.
This is Cyberstation USA.
I just am very blessed to be able to host a show like this.
Absolutely, for sure. And what you talked about, the educational portion of this show, Taylor. This is something you should recommend a lot of teachers show their kids, and also parents see that they can watch the show and learn from these different states and how they're different and the culture and stuff, for sure.
Yes, and the culture is that it's it's diverse, and that's what's great about what makes up America, is that there is truly diversity in all of these iconic state foods.
And those iconic state foods are quite interesting. Do you have a favorite, Taylor? I kept saying you've enjoyed all of it. Has there been a favorite trip so far?
I love the state of Maine. Being from Alabama, you just always hear about lobster, and the thing about it is that, if lobster is on the state plate menu, then, we're going on the lobster boat, and we're really going to those places of the origin of which the foods come from. So that's something that I love is, going on a lobster boat is just not something this Alabama boy's ever done before. And so that particular state, just the time of the year, the food that it produced was just one of those that really stood out to me.
It definitely seemed like it would, for sure. Thinking about lobster, anytime we can have lobster and have the best lobster, Taylor, it's a worthwhile experience.
I'm telling you, yep.
I don't know how, and I know that you've had lobster in Alabama. Would you say Maine's is the best place to get lobster?
Believe it or not, lobster rolls are on the menu at McDonald's in Maine during lobster season.
Really?
Who would have thunk it, right?
No, I wouldn't have thought that at all. I would have said, what, really? That's got to be unbelievable. Yeah. So what I see with the whole opportunities is the way this show makes it different to other food shows. The more you've explained this and the more that you've experienced this is that you're really showing America. Not just, okay, you drive down the street and you go to a diner. Not just, okay, you're going to go here. You're going to teach them about that state. Understand what's iconic about that state. Specific landmarks. How you are able to find food that's unlike that other state, right? And that's how you guys come up with those ideas for each episode.
That's what it's all about. State Plate has it, and you can see it on Friday nights on the INSP channel at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Awesome. Taylor, where's the best place social media-wise we can connect with you and stuff? Where can we go?
You can do Instagram. You can do Twitter. I've got the website, so you can pretty much follow me everywhere.
Awesome. And are you any other projects going on right now, Taylor?
I've got a music single coming out in the fall and a brand new record coming out early next year.
So how are you able to juggle all this traveling and then also your music? It's pretty challenging, isn't it?
You just close your eyes and hope for the best.
It's good to be busy, right, Taylor? That's the important thing of being in an entertainment field. You better be busy.
Yep, the phone, it never rang for 10 years, and the phone rings now, so I'm answering it.
Hey, keep answering it. Everyone needs to check out INSP's State Plate on Friday nights at 8 p.m., and I appreciate you calling, Taylor, and best of luck.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Take care, man. See ya. All right, take care.
Right.
Bye. Okay, bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome the program celebrity Richard-Rawlings. We're going to talk about garage, rehab, fast and loud, all the different things you do, man. Richard, thanks for calling. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, sir. I hope you guys are doing great, too.
Absolutely, Richard. I know you're excited about this garage rehab on Discovery Channel, right? I mean, to be able to help other people have awesome garages like you have, for sure, it must be a fun venture.
I really am. It's something that's near to my heart, and I'm very humbled and blessed to be a part of it. And, I was in the same position many times while trying to get Gas Monkey going. So, the help to get a leg up is something I would pray for at night. If I could just get that piece of equipment or just that bank loan, to get on down the road. And so it's very cool to be in a position to be able to go out there and help others that are in the same spot.
So you were in that position at one point in time with some of these garages we're in that on this show, right? You dealt with some of these situations as well.
No, I really did. It's been a rough road. I mean, everybody says, Gas Monkey's this, but I mean, it took 15 hard years to get in there. And I'll tell you, if you want to get humbled real fast, go ask your wife to borrow $1,000 because you can't make rent. That'll get your attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And you put yourself out there, Richard, right? You put yourself out there and get out of your comfort zone. Say, I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make it. And the process is that you're going to have a lot of lumps. And this is what you're going to teach a lot of these guys when you're helping them rehab their garage, for sure.
Yes, sir, for sure. I mean, and we've got, it's all about the individuals too, the guys and gals that own these shops. And whether or not they're willing to put in the work. We had to walk away from a few of them that just they said they wanted to help, but I could tell that they weren't going to do anything with it.
So once you get into a garage, what should we expect? We see lots of different rehab shows for certain things, from bars to restaurants to, making over a house. What's the difference when you're going into a garage and trying to fix it and help them?
The difference is that we're truly invested in them as people and as that as a business. And you're not going to see the drama of kicking boxes and yelling at them and telling them how bad they are or anything like that. I mean, we're there to be a part of it and to help them get turned around and on the right path, not to belittle them or yell at them or what have you. So,
hopefully you'll see that there's a lot less drama, and then there's still a lot of eye candy because at the end of the day, we're dealing with shops and cars and motorcycles and hot rods and what have you. So, there's a lot of cool stuff to see.
And what makes a great garage, Richard? Define that for me. What makes a great garage?
It can be anything from 1,500 square feet to 10,000 square feet. What makes a great garage is the people and their love for what they do. I'm a little worried about the future with the young kids being so into computers and things like that, and we're losing a lot of our manual laborers. And, to see the guys that are just so passionate. They can do anything. They're smart enough to do anything, and they want to work on cars. And, it's starting to become a lost art.
I completely agree with you, and that's a great point you make that, we all are forcing these kids or not forcing these kids in school. Hey, you got to go ahead, go to college. Well, it's not always about college. It'd be great that they can, but develop a trade, develop a skill, because there's a lot of money to be made, right, Richard, if you are very good in the garage, right?
You can make a real good living and put your kids through college and have a nice retirement. It's just, the general consensus thinking of putting the kids through schools or, do all this college stuff and learn the computers, which is great. You have to know it. But I'd like to see more people working with their hands.
I agree. Because some people, that's their skill set. That's their passion. They love to do this. And people working your garage, they love to do this, right, Richard? They love working.
Oh, my guys, my guys live, eat, and breathe it. I mean, they'll work a hard killer week for us on Gas Monkey Garage, Fast and Loud, and then turn around and work in the evenings and on the weekends on their own stuff. They do it 24/7.
When you chose the garages that you were going to rehab, what were you looking for in that garage owner? Was there a specific?
I was really looking for dedication to their business and their family. Because when you do something like this, you do get some that, aren't quite on the up and up, and they just think they want to be a part of it. And so we were very, very picky about who we did business with and chose people that were really dedicated to it and dedicated to their family and wanted to make a run of it and just had somehow over the years lost their way.
Yeah, and wrong things happen to them. Certain things happen that just shut them down.
Well, the first IRS letter or the first, bad job or bad investment hurts, and then the second one, and then, you get 2 or 3 of them piled on you, and then that's just, who cares? I need to eat today, and I need to pay the rent. And, sometimes I've been in the exact same situation. It's very, very hard to crawl out of it.
As entrepreneurs, Richard, we all go through this. At one point, when we take that next step or we take that next leap, it's not that easy. And it's great that you're going to be able to show this on the show because a lot of garage owners out there should watch, for sure. Check out Garage Rehab because they're going to be able to see, Richard, that it's not that easy and how can we take it to the next level. And you're really trying to have a diversity of garages right on the show. Correct?
Yeah, we've got motorcycle shops, regular shops, paint shops, hot rods. I mean, a little bit of everything that meets into our genre.
That's great. That's fantastic. And Garage Rehab premieres on Wednesday, August 30th at 10 p.m. Eastern, Richard. And what do you think we're going to be surprised about with this show, especially when we're fans of Fast and Loud? What are we going to expect that's different in a way of you? And
I think that as far as me, they're going to see the really true business side of Richard and a different kind of. I mean, what you've seen with Fast and Loud is what I've done with Gas Monkey, and you don't really get into the meat and potatoes of the business part of it. And I think you're going to see that. I'm hopefully able to transfer some of the stuff I've learned along the way into an ability that everybody can understand. And I don't think that we've been able to show that as much on Fast and Loud, and I'm excited to show that part of Richard on the Garage Rehab.
Awesome. Where's the best place we can find information on you, follow you, Richard, and all that? Where can we go?
GasMonkeyGarage.com, Gas Monkey Garage on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, whatever else the new latest bag of thing is. And, thanks to all the fans out there. I mean, I wouldn't be here without y'all.
Hey, well, congratulations on all the different things. We see you on TV all the time, Richard, so we're really excited for you and all the different ventures and projects you have. Do you have anything else coming out right now that you wanted to tell our listeners about?
I got a couple more shows coming out. Hopefully one before the end of the year, and another one in the spring of next year. And it's going to be pretty cool. One of them I'm working on is going to be with the kids, like I'm talking about. We're going to get into some shops and shop classes that have the young kids in there and try to teach them a few things.
Well, have that passion, Richard. Give back for the success that you've had, and keep helping people go after their dreams. So thanks for calling. I appreciate it, Richard.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment, and I'm excited to welcome the program, and this really interests me for sure. Author of Fourth and Goal Every Day, Alabama's Relentless Pursuit of Perfection. I'd like to welcome the program Phil Savage. Phil, thanks for calling. How are you?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the release tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Phil, when you talk about Alabama football and what Saban's been able to do, it's just absolutely amazing, isn't it? What he's been able to accomplish at Alabama.
Yeah, it really is. I think this is an era in college football that'll be talked about, 25, 50, 75 years from now, because Bama's won 4 national titles in 8 years. They played for a 5th, and honestly, with a few other plays going a different direction in the other couple of seasons, they could have conceivably played for 7 of the last 8 national titles at the highest level of the sport when you talk about the college game. So, the background here is that, I'm a native of the state. I grew up here during the Bear Bryant era in the 70s, which seemingly was a similar dominant period of time for Alabama. Then I worked for Bill Belichick.
CyberstationUSA.com.
Terrestrial radio is basically going to be supplanted by what's happening in technology. Think about this. Your internet receiver gives you the entire world. It's remarkable.
This is Cyberstation USA.
And Nick Saban in the early 90s with the original Cleveland Browns. And then when I came back here to be the radio color analyst the last 8 years, I just felt like, okay, there's a book in there somewhere to link all of these things together. And so that's really what Fourth and Goal Every Day is all about.
And that's very interesting when you talk about that, Phil, because, again, you've had experience working with some very, very interesting teams. Even you worked with the Ravens as well. And that for our Pittsburgh listeners out there knowing the Ravens-Steelers rivalry. But to have perfection, to pursue perfection, to be the best, it takes a lot of work, a lot of teamwork, isn't it, Phil? The whole team, not just the head coach, everyone around them.
Yeah, it comes from the leadership at the top, and then it just comes with hiring the right people and making sure everybody understands their responsibility of doing their job, knowing their role. Those roles have to be defined. And, when Nick Saban left the Browns in 1994, he went and became the head coach of Michigan State. And, of course, from there he went to LSU. And, after a 2-year stop with the Dolphins, he returned to the college game at Alabama. But he brought a lot of elements of what you would consider to be NFL-type philosophies in terms of the evaluation of recruits, to the approach to practice, the way things are segmented out in practice, and then, ultimately some sophistication, especially on the defensive side of the ball, for Alabama. And with all that being said, after really one season in 2007, his first year in Tuscaloosa, they were 7-6. It was sort of an inventory type of year.
Right.
But since that time, get this, they've had 3 regular season games that did not have national championship implications involved. So in other words, every regular season game since 2008, with the exception of 3, the national championship has still been out there for Alabama.
That's got to be amazing, especially with how difficult it is to recruit, right, Phil? It's not the easiest thing.
Well, I would say that, the college coach would tell you that the recruiting calendar and the demands of going after these prospects is probably the most difficult part of the college game. I think the coaches love working with their players on the field in spring football, training camp, and then, of course, during the season, the practices and the games. But the recruiting is really a burden. And I tell you, a lot of head coaches in college football, they turn it over to the staff, and they'll just sign off on, the 20 or 25 players that they sign each and every year. There are some coaches that are really good at evaluations. There's some that are not as interested in it. But Nick Saban has embraced that. He has a passion for recruiting that's just as strong as his desire to win on Saturdays. And I think that's one of the real separating factors for him is not only does he want to recruit, but he also wants to evaluate. And that's a very time-consuming ordeal to put all of that together.
It definitely does. So then once he has his recruits and he's ready to prepare himself for the season, tell us that preparation that Coach Saban goes through from, I guess, the off season to finally the football season.
Yeah, Neil, I have several chapters in the book, about, not only their recruiting, but more importantly, the evaluation of the players. And then once they get those players on campus, the idea of developing those players. We've heard Nick Saban say numerous times that football is a developmental sport. And so while, some five-star recruits can come in and play right away, there are others that need some incubation time over the course of a season or two before they're ready for prime time and to hit the field. And, Alabama under Nick Saban and, under a lot of different assistant coaches. I mean, this will be about his fourth or fifth iteration of the staff this year in 2017, and he's always been the common denominator in all of this. But for whatever reason, people are able to integrate themselves in the staff and figure out, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is how I'm supposed to be trying to develop these players. And I think it's really, another one of the big separators between them and most everyone else is the idea of not only bringing in gifted players, but then really training them in the right way with their hands, their eyes, their feet, their hips, all the essential elements of football.
So practice is really a developmental process, it sounds like, under Coach Saban.
Yeah, I've always said that, while the results of winning occur on Saturdays, Bama, more importantly, wins the other 350 days out of the year, and a lot of that centers around the practice field. In an era where literally in my duties for the Reese Senior Bowl, I visit a lot of campuses during the fall, and almost all the schools play music now. Everyone's concerned about too much hitting, too much contact. You go to an Alabama practice, they don't have music. They generate their own enthusiasm from within, and they work on fundamentals every single day. And I think that's, you take top flight recruits, put it with this kind of development, and then give them the training and the background in terms of the preparation of what to expect on a Saturday in a game. And there's a reason why they've been able to accomplish as much as they have over the last decade.
Absolutely. And Phil, the last point is that when you're recruiting, a lot of these kids have a dream to play in the NFL. And Coach Saban is able to develop NFL players, correct? Especially you being in the NFL game as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, one thing that happens is, when the NFL scout goes into Alabama, they're going to see those prospects performing duties that they're going to be tasked to do in the NFL. In other words, there are pro-like systems and pro-like responsibilities, either on defense or offense or even on special teams. And so there's not a ton of projection involved. In other words, the NFL scout can write, okay, I've seen, this particular player, play cover 2, play cover 3. I've seen this running back, run between the tackles, catch the ball out of the backfield, whatever the case might be. With the advent of the spread offense and the way it's taken root and really, sort of changed the evolution of college football, for the NFL scout, oftentimes it's a bit of guesswork. I mean, you're trying to mine through 100 plays in a given game to find 10 or 12 that will actually apply to the pros. And so with that being said, that's one reason why you've seen NFL teams gravitate towards Alabama players. You know, this year they had 10 total picks. They've had 55, top flight choices during Nick Saban's time at Alabama. So, you know, it's definitely a hotbed for NFL scouting, and, you know, all 32 teams will send at least 2, if not 3, sometimes 4 different people into Tuscaloosa over the course of the season.
All right, well, fantastic, Phil. The best place we can purchase the book in all finer bookstores. Check it out on Amazon. Is there a place we can find information on you as well, Phil? The book comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, you follow me on Twitter, Senior Bowl, at Senior Bowl Phil. Of course, our SeniorBowl.com website has a ton of information for those that are interested in football beyond just Alabama. But the book is available online and will be in stores as of tomorrow on Tuesday, the 29th.
All right, Phil, good luck in the season. Have another great season of Alabama football, and we'll see what happens, okay?
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
All right, take it, Phil. Bye-bye. You're listening to Neil Haley's show, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Neil Haley show, and it's the Author's Corner segment, and I'm just really, really, really excited to welcome to the program author of Diana, I'm Going to Be Me, Phil Dampier. Phil, thanks for calling, and you know what, Phil? Diana is something that, especially in the United States, is something that if you grew up in that time period, it's just, there's so many people that wanted to be Diana. And I'm sure you hear that conversation all the time.
Yeah, that's right. It's an absolute phenomenon, isn't it? And for me, a reporter who was actually reporting on her at the height of her fame 25, 30 years ago, it's bringing back all sorts of memories, as you can imagine, this 20th anniversary. It kind of seems like yesterday. But what fascinates me most is that a lot of people are coming to it completely fresh. You know, when you think about it, if you could be a young parent with a kid in a pram age 20 and you weren't even alive when Diana died, and anyone under 30 probably doesn't remember her. So for a whole generation of people, they are discovering this woman for the first time, and they are finding her a fascinating historical figure, a fascinating fashion icon, a trailblazer in all sorts of fields like AIDS, HIV, and landmines, and somebody who really changed the monarchy. And of course, they know all about William and Harry, and it's only now that they're kind of seeing where William and Harry get a lot of their personality from their mother, and it's fascinating to see people discover it for the first time, and as you say, people rediscovering it.
For sure. And they want to talk about it. And then the specials come out and all the different things and the 20th anniversary. And to think about specifically enough Diana, it really, so I was going to say, Phil, before the question I was trying to think, thinking about Diana, is that she really shook Britain by storm, right? That they did not expect a princess to act like she acted. But it changed the whole way the monarchy would be. So kind of explain when she came on the rise and she married Prince Charles, how it kind of changed a lot of what you look at when you look at a princess.
Well, that's right. In the early 1980s, which is when she joined the royal family, you've got to remember, she was only 20 years old. That's the amazing thing. So she came into it with a lot of naivety, a lot of fresh ideas. And as you say, she was completely different from any other royal. And before that, if you'd been reporting on the Queen or Princess Margaret or the Queen Mother, it would all be sort of, don't get too close to them, don't touch them. And Diana was completely different. She would be very touchy-feely with people. She would even talk to us, the press, who were following her around. And kind of interact with us. And I think that's where she got a lot of her popularity. She was quite good at manipulating the press. And I remember all sorts of occasions when we were following her around and she would, for example, on a holiday, when she would know that we were there and she would strip off to a bikini on a beach.